Hello, 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 my amigos. Welcome, one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And folks, hold on to your hats because we are in for another exciting edition of the show. We've got challenges aplenty. Suena a tutti plen, pues es igual. We've got challenges aplenty and so much more in store por venir here on the show with no name. So everybody buckle up because it's time for liftoff.
T minus 10,
9, 8,
7,
7, 6,
5,
4. Oops.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I told you I wasn't good at math.
Ignition.
I told you many times. Math is not my forte.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
But we'll get this thing off the ground by hook or by crook. C-O-C. Here we go.
Get ready.
That's
Hold on
it.
to your hats.
Come on.
Your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no. It's show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go.
That's right, amigos. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's the show with no name. I know I left you guys in good hands yesterday with Jules. And this morning, I know you kicked off your day with Fitz and his amazing class. No excuses. Guys, remember, if you don't have the Vaughn Radio app, download it now, and this way you are up to speed. Estás al tanto, al día. Ya empezamos con expresiones. You are up to speed on what's going on in the Vaughn world. We've got special deals going on aplenty, a tutti plen. We've also got, I just mentioned the word challenge. Well, guess what? We've got a live challenge en directo. And it's going to be at Roll Madrid on November 30th, our Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's the last one of 2022, hosted by Andy Vaughn, Rob Grams, and The Notch.
In a world where everybody knows the answers, only 3 people have the questions. Only 3 people.
You're right there, Rob.
I'm all right. Hey, guys, it's Vaughn Trivia Night. Bah, 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 bah.
Woo!
30th of November, it's the lunchtime cruise turn at the Trivia Night. And that's me, the Natch, Andy.
Yes, indeed. You're going to see all 3 of us at Roll Madrid in Calle Amaniel number 23. Calle Amaniel number 23, 8:30, November 30th. See you there.
Don't miss it, folks. I'll be there. I know Kyle's going to be there and many other amigos from Vaughn Radio. So make sure you join us. And again, if you're following us on social media, you'll have all that information at your fingertips. Plus, you'll have tons of English content to help you along your English journey. I love that word, journey, cruzada. Yeah. Travesía, I think, is the word you use in Spanish. Well, I think it's time for our first challenge of the day, our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah.
Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz.
All right, amigos, it's our pop quiz only on the show with no name. That's right. If you can't wait till November 30th for the trivia night with Andy, Rob, and Nacho, you've got challenges every day here, not just on the show with no name, but I know there are challenges on all the Vaughn radio programs, from Back to Basics to No Excuses to Drive Time. You will be challenged. Oh, and speaking of Rob Grams, folks, today is the day we have unleashed Desatado. We have unleashed the episode of FYI for your Inglés, which is on art. Va sobre el arte. And we've got the one and only Rob Grams, who joins me on the pod. And I don't want to say it because I produced it and organized it and stuff, but it's absolutely magical. I think it's a really special episode where we get deep and we teach you lots of expressions because it's two native people shooting the shit or shooting the breeze. So check it out wherever you listen to your Vaughn podcasts, Spotify, iVox, Apple Podcasts. Of course, you can get the one and only, well, it's not the only FYI. It's the only for your Inglés. It seems FYI is a very popular name for a podcast. Huh, I didn't know that beforehand. But I guess it works. It's for your Inglés. We have hit 400,000 downloads. That's 800,000 ears. No, porque son dos por persona. Me gusta mejor así, ¿eh? ¿Por qué no lo hacemos por oídos en vez de downloads? Es el doble. 800,000 ears have heard For Your Inglés. So check out this week's episode on art. It's the last one of 2022. Remember, we'll be producing shows here on Vaughn Radio, so you'll have tons of content. Plus, I'll be releasing bonus episodes never heard before on, well, I don't think, no, none of them. So we've got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of great content coming up that should keep you content in the month of December. So you'll have plenty of content. And remember, I post videos every single day. Every day on social media, I post videos. And today, we're going to look at a challenge I gave you guys. But I'm gonna make it a little bit more broad here. Now, I'm gonna give you the word in Spanish. The word is consejo. So how would you say to somebody, I want you to do two things here. I want you guys to give me un consejo. Sure, why not? It's something that maybe you've applied in your life or something that you thought was un buen consejo. But before it, I want you to tell me un consejo o te voy a dar un consejo. So I want you to use the word consejo. Hay muchas formas de decirlo. Okay. And I also want you to darnos ese consejo. Ya que estamos, let's get into a little philosophy over here, folks. It's great to have you all on board with us. We're looking for somebody or many people who know how to say un consejo. Y luego que nos des el consejo, por supuesto, en inglés. All right, let's go on over to our chat room, our virtual classroom over here, where our students interact and have fun along with us. All right, let's see who we've got. We've got Marta. Marta says, good morning, guys. TGIF. What's up? What's up, Marta. Great to have you here. Front row center. En primera fila y en el centro. Significa que estás a tiempo, estás temprano y también con ganas. Front row center. There's Marta. There's Monse. She says, sup, guys. Sup. ¿Ves? No puedo decir eso sin mover la cabeza. Sup. Es como decimos, what's up? In New York, at least. Sup. Sup. Sup, guys. How you doing? Whoa, very native greeting there. Awesome. Great to have you, Monse. Born to Iron Man says, morning, folks. TGIF. Oh, I love those letters. Who doesn't love those letters? OMG. I love TGIF. And a nice BLT. Bacon, lettuce, and tomato. I love bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Oops, there I go talking about food again. I can't help it. I can't. I try, but I can't help it. No lo puedo evitar. I love food. I mean, just look at me. Maybe you could give me un consejo sobre la comida. Lupe. Lupe says, morning, friends. Morning, Lupe. Great to have you on board. One of our super spellers. No? Deletrea genial. Lupe. Let's make the most of this beautiful Friday. I like it, Lupe. I'm on board. You got me. German says, hello, guys. How you doing? Are you ready for a magical night? Oh, yeah, definitely. And as I told you guys, yesterday was Thanksgiving, but we're celebrating today. It's more fun on a Friday because in the States, it's a national holiday, or as we call it, a bank holiday, but not in Spain. That doesn't fly. No cuela. Even in an American company, no cuela. So we're celebrating the day after. Why not? It's never too late to celebrate. Let's see. Rosaline. Rosaline says, good morning, dear teacher, AA, and folks. What's up? What's going on, Rosaline? Laura, there she is. Our shining star. One of our shining stars. She says, good morning, everyone. TGIF. And I got to sing these words you put here. The sun is shining. The weather is sweet. It'll make you want to move your dancing feet. Here I am. All right. Maybe I should have stopped at the other part. Bob Marley. To the rescue. What a great song. Sun is shining. The weather is sweet. I'll make you want to move your dancing feet. Oh, yeah. Are you guys feeling it? I'm feeling it. Leo. Hello, friends. What's up, goat? Hey, I know another Leo they call the goat, but you're the goat. Sí, porque estás como una cabra, tío. No. Hey, it takes one to know one. Nos conocemos uno al otro. The greatest of all time, the wordsmith, our poet. He says, take advantage of the deals on Black Friday, but be aware of not being hoodwinked by the marketing gambits out there. Ooh, I love your anti-establishment message. Awesome. Hoodwinked, engañado. Great word. Oh, man. Hey, but speaking of, I'm not going to call it Black Friday, but we've got some really special deals going on for the Thanksgiving holiday and the kickoff of the Christmas season. Go on over to our website. It's grupovon.com. Rosaline says, it feels nice to be back in the chat. I think your classmates and I would agree with that statement. Awesome to have you back. Marta, I'll give you a piece of advice. Join the show with no name if you want to learn English in a fun way. Marta, I love it. I'm blushing, sonrojando. Laura, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't miss the show with no name. So far, so good. Great job. Remember, we don't say an advice, but the ladies know that. They said a piece of advice or some advice. Jesus, he says, my advice is do what you preach. Maybe the best advice ever. We don't say so much do what you preach, Jesus, but I'm going to tweak it. It's practice what you preach, right? Practica lo que predicas. I think it's great advice. Oscar says, I would like you to give me a piece of advice for my next trip to New York City. I wish I could. Well, write me a DM. Escríbeme por privado, Oscar, and I can give you some tips, some pointers. Eso es otra forma de decir consejos. Here's a tip. Here's a pointer. All right. Let's see. Ricardo says advice. Yo al menos diría ahí some advice. Working hard always pays off. All right. Let's see. Jaime. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Read the book. This book is the milk. It's really the milk. Thank you. Remember, we don't say the milk in English. We would say it's the shit, it's the bomb, it's the bee's knees. Speaking of the bee's knees, there's Chris Valrol. She says, morning, AA and mates. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. Little TLC in there. Toque de cariño. There's Nihad. Speaking of cariño y cariñoso. Remember, loving es que das mucho cariño. Lovable es que estás para darte cariño. And I think Nihad is both. You're a loving guy and you're a lovable guy, Nihad. Hey, at least judging by your words. Good morning, Mr. and friends, says Nihad. Teaching is the one profession that creates all other professions. So thank you, Mr. Awesome. I'm going to get t-shirts that say Mr. Awesome, Nihad. Rosaline says advice. Guys, just remember, yo nunca diría a alguien advice y una frase. Right? I wouldn't say it. I would say, you want some advice? Let me give you some advice. Let me give you a piece of advice. Okay? So another one that nobody used is the one I was looking for, a word to the wise. Un consejo. Una palabra para el sabio. A word to the wise. Don't ever cross the street without looking both ways. For example, that's my example. A word to the wise, right? Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for these awesome words. I can't, what can I say? I'm speechless. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. So Rosaline says advice. So I'll give it to you. Let's say a word to the wise. Para usar esta. Es una expresión. A word to the wise. Keep a clean heart and be kind to others. You never know the circumstances they're going through. Beautiful. Rosaline. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I couldn't agree more. And Chris Valrol says, I absolutely agree, Rosaline. Beautiful. Yeah, keep a clean heart, pure intentions. You know, don't have ulterior motives. ¿Conocéis esta? Ulterior motives. Razones escondidas. I always, my philosophy with this, and I Rosaline, you really struck a chord here. Tocaste la fibra sensible con todos, creo, con esto. You got to do things for the right reasons. Do things because you want to do them, right? Keep it real. Resumido en 3 palabras neoyorquinas. Keep it real. I always think if I'm lying to somebody else, I'm lying to myself too, right? And I don't want to lie to myself. I owe myself. Me debo al menos la verdad. All right, let's see. Lupe, getting philosophical. Hey, I knew it was going to happen when I asked you for some advice. Otra vez, lo que estamos viendo no se dice an advice, nunca. O some advices. Es some advice. Si te digo 2 cosas o 80 cosas. Lo más fácil, quédate con some advice. A word to the wise, si quiere ser totally native. Lupe says, let me give you a piece of advice. Great. Think things over before talking. Ooh, wow. Lupe, totally native. Dale vueltas, piensa las cosas bien antes de hablar. Oh, man, such great advice. ¿Ves cómo no usa artículo? Such, no digo such a great advice, sino such great advice. So think things over before talking. Brilliant, Lupe. I try to do it always, and it's going well so far. Well, it takes discipline, Lupe. I know it because, well, I've got a big mouth. And I've got an opinion on everything, it seems. Nihad says, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't be a victim. Oh, man, beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it seems like society these days, it's like, well, if I can't win, I'll just play the victim. That's not cool. I mean, if you want people to feel sorry for you, que te tengan pena, great. But I would prefer people be proud of me. Like, you know, the comments you guys are saying here. Not like, oh, poor Alberto, poor Alberto. I don't want that. I don't need that kind of sympathy. But I think we live in a time now where it's like, just play the victim. And I always tell people, you know, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. No, porque te ofendes no significa que tengas razón. It's anybody can be offended. It's free, right? It's like giving your opinion. We say, voy a ser un poco vulgar, pero es buenísima. When people say, well, that's just my opinion, my 2 cents. Mira, otra forma de decirlo, mi grano de arena, my 2 cents. Well, that's just my opinion. And then you know what we say? We say opinions are like assholes, ojetes. Yeah, no lo he inventado yo, eh? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Nobody needs another one. And they all stink. Oh, you thought you were the only ones with funny expressions in Spanish? Laura, look at Laura using it in context. Great, Laura. What a great word to the wise, Lupe. Yeah, it's true, guys. This is really good. Inspirational advice. Remember, the verb is to advise. You can check it out. There's a video I posted with this. If you want to review it, I would advise you to do so. If you want my advice. And then we haven't mentioned unsolicited advice. Unsolicited. No sé si lo he pronunciado bien. No me ha sonado bien. Unsolicited. Es difícil decirlo, ¿eh? Unsolicited. Solicited. Unsolicited advice. That's when you're over at the playground, en el parque de los niños, and another parent comes up to you and says, why don't you put her in piano classes? Or why don't you, and you're like, hi, do we know each other? My name's Alberto. I start with that. Like, before you start giving me advice of any kind, not just parental advice. Hey, nice to meet you. So it's funny. Total strangers will tell you their opinion. They're comfortable doing that. Let's see. Chris says, what a wise mates I have. Chris, if you take out that A there, si sacas esa A, me gusta más. Right? Because it's plural, right? What wise mates I have. I second the motion. Let's see. Rosalines Back. Rosalines got a lot of advice. A knowledgeable, wise person. A piece of advice. Never, ever let a day pass by without giving a big kiss to your loved ones. Rosaline, you are definitely striking a chord. And to strike a chord, ya lo hemos visto, pero apúntalo si no. To strike a chord, tocar la fibra sensible. Guys, we've looked at a lot of really cool expressions, and we've gotten a lot of really good advice here on the show. But right now, we've got to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, we've got tons of challenges. We've got Say What, Spelling Bee, Name That Lyric, Name That Movie, Famous Birthdays. So much to do. The party is just getting started. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. And action. The show with no name is sponsored by Kinepolis. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. This is a place where you can learn English, you can laugh, you can be challenged, you can make friends, and who knows? Who knows what could happen? I mean, I've got a plan here, like I always do. But we never know where we're going to go on this exciting journey, this exciting adventure that we take together every day. It's the show with no name. Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again in the second part of today's show with no name. We've got a lot to do, so why don't we just kick off with our first section of the second part. Say what? Say what? That's right, amigos. That's right. It's our Say What soundbite only on the show with no name. And here's where we're going to hear a famous person speaking. And you guys have to tell me what this person is on about. What? What this person is on about. ¿De qué están hablando? What are you on about? ¿Qué me estás contando? ¿Qué estás hablando? It's very British now that I think. We say it in the States, but what are you on about, mate? What are you on about? ¿De qué me estás contando? ¿De qué me estás hablando? So I want you to tell me that, but firstly, I want you to tell me in your own words. I want you to observe, and I want you to give me your best observations, your best assessment, valoración, of what you heard. In your own words, in excellent English. Impress me. I mean, this is English class, and this is your opportunity to sound great in English. So remember, that's another thing we should mention as well. Don't only write the sentences down in the comments or on a piece of paper, but when you've finished, say them aloud, right? Try and say them together because, again, we're practicing visualizing the structures, but the most important part here is saying whatever we look at aloud. Because if not, you're improving your listening, and that's awesome. But we want to go a step further, and we know how to do it quite simply whenever possible, especially when you hear something that sounds strange to you. That's a perfect moment to say, hang on, what? What did he just say? You know, those moments. All right, well, my amigos, everybody grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write down what you hear.
This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
All right, there you go, folks. There you go. That's the first listen of today's Say What soundbite. Hopefully, somebody will be able to jot some of it down. I think most of you, okay, knowing your level, most of you should be able to nail this one today. And I would even say in maybe 2 or 3 listens. So I want to see mass participation here because this one, I mean, compared to some of the ones we've seen recently, this is a walk in the park. Esto es pan comido, comidísimo. Okay? All right, let me play it for you a second time, and then I'd love to hear your feedback on what you heard. Here it is, the Say What soundbite for the second time.
This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
All right, sounds like a very exciting person. Doesn't sound monotonous at all. Toma palabra. Monotonous. Okay. Monótono? You say the same thing. Monotonous. Monotonous. Pero americanos nos comemos. We say monotonous. So yes, somebody who doesn't change the tone of their voice, right? Imagine if I talked at the same tone throughout the whole show. I mean, I imagine maybe it could be very relaxing, but it might put you to sleep too. And, you know, just that lack of energy, you know, esa carencia de energía. You know, for me, as somebody who's always had a lot of energy, it's a lot harder for me to do my classes or my shows like this, monotone. It's in fact me está costando la vida. This is tough, man. It's hard to be monotone. At least, hey, my family. If you know my family, my grandpa, I mean, he would break into song. We would be having breakfast, and he would be like, "Oh, sole mio, sta in fronte a te, oh sole." It's now or never. Same rhythm, isn't it? So, as we say in English, we call somebody like that a ham. There are a lot of hams in my family. What? Jamón? Yeah, same word. A ham is somebody who likes to put on a little show, right? Somebody who has showmanship. I know Kyle Miller looked at that show, looked at that word recently on his show. How do I know? A student used it in class, and I said, nice word. And she said, that one was Kyle Miller, and he was talking about you. And I said, oh, cool, man. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So a shout out to Kyle Miller, to my buddy Kyle Miller and his awesome program, Drive Time. Also, remember, Kyle has a book. It's an amazing book. It is the Business Bible. It is a very comprehensive book. It's a big book, comes with video, audio, and it tells you the ins and outs, los pormenores, the ins and outs of doing business in English, or really in any language. But since the book is in English and it focuses on that, but it can teach you how to be a better business person, period. Y luego si añades la parte del inglés, well, you've got yourself an amazing gift. And remember, you can pick all that stuff up at the Von Tienda, where we have a plethora of different resources at your fingertips. Check it out right now because we've got some special deals going on. Unas ofertas, ofertones. So if you want to go over there, mosey on over. Buenísima palabra. Ir haciendo camino para... No, ir yendo para allá. Mosey on over, tranquilamente. No es como, bueno, vamos a terminar esto, and then we're going to mosey on over to the punch bowl, donde está el ponche. So mosey on over to grupovon.com, or you can also go to Von Tienda. Grupo Von has everything, right? That's our landing page, as they call it. But then Von Tienda is where we sell all our materials, all our resources, and you can get them delivered to your door. All right, amigos, let's take a look over here and see what we've got in our Say What soundbite. Let's see. I'm going to go down here to the comments. Let me give you some advice, a piece of advice. Okay. German says it's a guy talking about how President Bush used to talk about voodoo economics. Yep. Short and sweet, but it's true. It's a guy talking about how President Bush used to talk about voodoo economics. Well, German, you're not beating around the bush. No estás andando por las ramas, no estás mareando la perdida. Okay, sorry. Well, hey, I thought it was funny. All right, Monse says, I'll say that's an American politician, maybe in an audience or something like that, talking about a thing that on 1980, so in 1980, you would say, right, with con el año in 1980, the vice president called it voodoo economics. Okay, absolutely. So this is interesting. German says President Bush, but maybe it was vice president. Remember, he was vice president as well. Well, I don't think that's important. That's semantics right now. But guys, wonderful job there, German and Monse. Oscar, it's safe to say that he could be an native. An native, Oscar, or a native? Me gusta más a native. A native English speaker addressing to an audience. Y quitamos el addressing, el to del addressing. Pero bien, no lo hubiésemos sabido si no lo llegas a usar. So, dirigirse a, pero en español ponéis el a, en inglés no. So, speaker addressing an audience and aiming what happened in 1980s was a voodoo in economics. Okay, good. Oscar, just be careful with that second part. It was a little bit confusing. Aiming what? So aiming at, con el objetivo. Says, morning energy, man. Come on, let's go for, I'm not going to say that word, David. No has visto demasiado Viernes Negro. We're not going to say that word. Come on. David, great to see you. But don't say, there are a couple words you can't say here on the show. One of them is this thing that starts with a C that affected many people's lungs. That word, C-O-V, you know the one, okay? The word that everybody said for 3 years straight. Not allowed to say that word on here. And Black Friday, lo digo ahora para que it's one of those unmentionable words, okay? Let's put it this way. If the word has been overkilled, no, pasado, matado a más no poder, then we gotta avoid it here. I remember somebody telling me that too. They said, "Oh, Alberto, you should talk about the COVID." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? You want more of that here on the show?" I thought this was a place where you could escape that stuff. Okay. And just focus on enriching yourselves. All right. Let's see. David, I hope. Okay. Laura says, I hope the man who is talking is not an economics teacher. for the good of his students. Well, Laura, spot on. You nailed it. It's an economics teacher. So, Rosaline says an American man is speaking about politics in a very vivacious way. Vivacious, yeah, con muchísima vida. He said something real weird about voodoo. Just be careful, Rosaline. Voodoo in inglés. Primero, you say voodoo, right? Well, we say voodoo, o sea, el acento es diferente, y luego nosotros lo escribimos V-O-O-D-O-O, okay? So just be careful with that one. But good. Mira, si no lo llegas a escribir, no podemos corregirlo. So great job, guys. Leonardo says, I would say I heard an American spokesman, un portavoz, giving a speech saying that in those days, Vice President Bush did something controversial that this guy described as voodoo economics. Cuidado, no boo con B-O-O, sino voodoo. So nosotros lo escribimos V-O-O-D-O-O y lo pronunciamos voodoo. Salvador says, it sounds like an old block with American accent. I don't know what you mean by block, Salvador, but explain, please. An old block with an American accent. By the way, he speaks maybe a bureaucrat talking about a highly controversial issue. Interesting. All right. Nihad. He says, I think an American senator is talking about a controversial economic situation, reminding us of the vice presidents when he called in 1980 for some new politics in economy. Just be careful, Nihad. So politics is la política. I don't like getting involved in politics. Pero la política de una empresa, de la clase, eso sería policy. So if I'm not mistaken, you wanted to say policy in the end over there. And good word, Senador. So I think everybody agrees here that this is definitely like a serious person, right? Let's see. Chris Valrol says, I heard a very restless man. I heard a very restless man. Inquieto. Yeah, inquietísimo. I'm joking, right? I'm joking. Joke sin fe. So it's J-O-K-I-N-G. I'm joking. He sounds American, maybe a politician. He's talking about black art economics because he uses the word voodoo. And great job. You spelt it perfectly there, Chris, as well. Rosaline, you're still missing an O. Let's wait. Hold the phone. We've got a winner after the second listen. Please give it up for Laura. All right, Laura. Awesome job. All right. Chris says, sorry for my jokes. I'm totally astonished with this term, voodoo, applied to economics. Oh, yeah, it's a real thing. Even though it's, well, I'm not going to tell you too much more now. Juan says, first of all, morning, folks. Morning to you, Juan. That's an American politician. He's asking everybody if they know how the Vice President Bush called the situation in 1980. Voodoo economics. Te falta una O. Ok, lo repito otra vez, por si acaso. V-O-O-D-O-O. So, hay 4 O's en esa palabra. Salvador says, I said block, meaning guy, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, okay. You know what? I think you meant, correct me if I'm wrong now here, Salvador. I think you meant bloke. Lo que dicen los ingleses, es muy inglés esta palabra, pero eso se escribiría B-L-O-K-E, bloque, right? Not block como un bloque de cemento. So I think that's what you meant. Let's see, folks. I see we've got some more people participating. A lot of people congratulating Laura, and deservedly so. German says, I'm not astonished, Cristina. Politicians might as well be called the seamy underbelly of society. Well, I think a lot of people forget this. This is my take, mi opinión, on politicians. A lot of times we think like they're our leaders and we do what they say and we work for them. But isn't it the exact opposite? Aren't we the voters? Aren't we the ones who can say, you're gone, you're out of there, you suck, you've done nothing but destroy the country? So a lot of times they have you, or they lead you to believe the narrative, la narrativa, is what? We control you, you do what we say, and really in the end, who is, the government is made of the people if it's a democracy, right? So I think sometimes we need to remind these people, not just with our votes, right? And say, you know what? Yeah, you work for us. We don't work for you. You work for us. All right, guys, we've got to move on before we get into a political debate. But I think it's true. It doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing, de izquierdas o derechas. The politicians need to realize that, and people need to realize that, or else we'll just keep saying, oh, yeah, okay, well, there are leaders. These people, what we realized in the last couple of years, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Not in England, not in Spain, not in the United States, and it's pretty scary. We need new leadership, creo yo, eh? You want me to run for president? No way. I don't want that responsibility. What, are you kidding me? Folks, it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, amigos. It is our Spelling Bee only on the show with no name. And as always, I'm going to spell some words for you. And I'm going to spell them at lightning speed. Okay? Lightning relámpago. The second time, I'm going to be Mr. Nice Guy. Voy a ser el señor majísimo, Mr. Awesome, as David. I think, David, is it you that says Mr. Awesome? All right. But the first time, I'm Mr. Motherfucker. This is round one, folks, of today's Spelling Bee. The first word is, they all start with capital letters. Empiezan con mayúscula. The first word is M-O-U-S-E-T-R-A-P. The second word is L-E-S space M-I-S-E-R-A-B-L-E-S. The third one is P-H-A-N-T-O-M space O-P-E-R-A. The next one is W-O-M-A-N space B-L-A-C-K. The fifth one is B-L-O-O-D space B-R-O-T-H-E-R-S. And the last one, the sixth one, is M-A-M-M-A space M-I-A exclamation point. Déjame respirar un segundo. Right? You got to let me breathe a second, guys. If you got that, you are definitely playing in the big leagues. Nosotros decimos esa frase. Vosotros decís en primera, pues nosotros decimos en las ligas grandes. You are definitely playing in the big leagues. I'm going to give you a second or two to try and figure out what these words are, and we'll see if we've got any winners. And ladies and gentlemen, he is a whiz. Un mago, viene de wizard. He's a whiz. Es un genio. Ladies and gentlemen, unfreaking believable. Please give it up for Born to Iron Man. What? Are you kidding me, man? Unbelievable, Iron Man. Unreal. Unreal. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. Jennifer taking a stab at it. Jennifer, I see some mistakes in there. And Vero, whoa. Vero, just a second after Born to Iron Man. Whoa. All right. Well, folks, here we go with round 2. This is the round for us mere mortals. Los mortales. La gente normal. Okay. Wow. And there's Chris. Are you kidding me? Lupe? Are you? Oh, okay. All right. We're going to turn up the heat. Vamos a subir la presión en los otros, in the other sections. All right. Here's round 2 of today's spelling bee. I'm going to give you 6 words, as I always do. And this time you can check them if you already did it. And if you didn't get it, you got it. This one's going to be easy. I promise. The first word is capital. They all start with capitals. Mousetrap. The second one is LES space MISERABLES. The third one is PHANTOM space OPERA. The fourth one is WOMAN space BLACK. The fifth one is BLOOD space BROTHERS. And the sixth and final one is MMA space MI exclamation point. Folks, we're off to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So stick around. And action. The Show with No Name is sponsored by Kinepolis. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name. Exclusively on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, after today's show, you've got tons of amazing programs. You've got Jules with Let's Get Random. You got Rob and Andy on the lunchtime show. After that, you've got Tosh Pasqua with Back to Basics. After Back to Basics, you've got the Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez. After that, Western Civilizations, The Salad, and Drive Time. Don't forget to download our free app, and this way you never miss a beat. No te pierdas ni una. And just a quick reminder, folks, if you haven't gotten those Christmas presents yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I've warned you a couple times, and I don't want to sound like your parents here, but now's the time, because later delivery times, even if you're not going to the physical store, delivery times get longer. So I don't want to be the voice of reason here, but get it done now. And remember, you can stop by our Vaughn Tienda or vaughntienda.com and get tons of amazing books.
We are coming to you live from the funeral. Señoras y señores, nos dirigimos a ustedes desde el funeral real.
What a sad day it is, for this book is the remilk.
Es un día triste para This Book is the Remilk.
It is a book that was loved by many and will be missed by all.
Es un libro que fue adorado por muchos y será extrañado por aún más.
But don't fret, no, don't worry,
Pero no se preocupen,
because the remilk will be reborn
porque This Book is the Remilk volverá a nacer
with a new name, a new cover, and brand new audio.
con un nuevo nombre, una nueva portada y ahora con audio.
It's called This Book is the Milk 2.
Se llama This Book is the Milk 2
And it will usher in a new age.
y nos adentrará en una nueva era.
All hail! This Book is the Milk 2, the new leader.
¡Viva This Book is the Milk 2, el nuevo rey!
Long live! This Book is the Milk 2.
¡Larga vida al nuevo rey! This Book is the Milk 2.
Available at Vaughn Tienda. Remember, now you can get This Book is the Milk 2 with audio. And most of our materials come with audio. Also, remember, every Saturday with El Mundo and Marca newspapers, you can pick up our Disney Vaughn collection, which we've got some amazing tales. Every Saturday, you've got a brand new one coming out. All different accents, all different characters. I think there's something for the whole family there. All right, my amigos, time to get moving into today's homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 The show with no name.
That's right. That's right. It's homophones only on the show with no name, my amigos. And here's where I'm going to give you two words, as always. And you guys are going to tell me, A, what the words are, and B, if they sound the same. And I mean the same. Not kinda, pues algo parecido. No. I mean like the same. Like you wouldn't know if I was saying one word or the other. All right. I can't take music out of what I do. All right, folks. The first word in today's homophones is a way of saying mother, but an informal, cute way. Okay. In the United States. Okay. So yeah, this is one that's used more in the United States. Okay. So we all know for you, it would be mami, mama, mamita, right? It's a nice way of saying madre, because you can say mother, but then I used to call mi madre otra cosa. And you can say father, but I didn't call him father because I sound like, what is this? The Sound of Music, sonrisas y lágrimas. Yes, father. So we have more endearing terms. So the first word is the American way of saying mommy, mama, mamita, okay? A cute way of saying madre. The second word is the word momia. So if you were in ancient Egyptian times, an embalmed Egyptian body is una momia, right? So, what are those two words? Si tú dirías en Estados Unidos, mi madre se vistió de momia, difícil para mí en español. No mi madre, mi mami se disfrazó de momia. Would those two words sound the same? In the United States, I'm saying, okay? Because in England, they've got a different way of saying it. So we'll look at that. Don't worry. Lo vamos a mirar sin falta. But right now, also, we need to listen to our Say What soundbite for the third time. Laura got it already, which has proved that it is doable. Es asequible. So I want everybody to participate. Here it is for the third time.
This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
All right, folks, there you go. There you go. I've got to say, if you played this for any American, they would know exactly where it's from, because this is a very well-known piece of pop culture, today's Say What soundbite. All right, and we're going to take a look at the homophones as well in just a moment, plus our spelling bee words as well. Well, we got a lot of stuff to do. All right, let's do this. Let's do the spelling bee words first, and it'll give you guys some time to figure out the homophones, which were mami en Estados Unidos y momia. What are the words? And do the two words sound the same? Okay. Our spelling bee, these are the longest running plays in England on the West End. The West End of London is their equivalent of Broadway. Okay. It's their equivalent. So if you say Broadway, you're talking about the United States, the highest echelon of theater. Okay. And if you're talking about the West End, well, that's London's version of Broadway. Okay. And usually you've got a couple kinds of plays, obras de teatro. You got a musical, which is usually the most popular one. Let's be honest. The most popular ones, at least on Broadway, are definitely musicals. Then you've got a straight play. What is a straight play? There's no music. It's just conversation. It's dialogue. And then you've got a review. And what is a review? A review is como un magazine. Es como the Broadway's greatest hits of the 50s kind of thing, right? That's like a musical review. All right. Again, the most popular ones are just musicals, right? I prefer straight plays because I like the drama and the acting. But musicals are great because if you got some good singers, which normally it's the greatest singers in the United States are usually working in that area and on Broadway. So this is The Mousetrap. Now, The Mousetrap is number one. Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. It opened today in 1952. Do you know my mom was one? Mi madre tenía un año. It opened today, the murder mystery play. It's a straight play, como acabamos de decir. And it opened, to open is debutar. at the Ambassadors Theatre in the West End of London after it premiered in Nottingham in the UK. It became the longest continuously running play in history. So I decided to take a look at the longest running shows on the West End. And some of them are similar to Broadway, and some of them are different. So it's interesting how there are some that are just classics everywhere, and there are some that did very well in the United States and not so well abroad, like Rent. Es una que es muy, muy americana. 1776, Ragtime. Son musicales que realmente tratan la experiencia americana. So I get why English people are like, okay, the music's nice, but it's not our thing. You know, you're talking about how you guys did great the moment you left us. Okay, the first one is The Mousetrap, Ratonera, I think you say. The next one is Les Mis, tan popular que no hay que decir Les Miserables. You can just say Les Mis. I've seen Les Mis 6 or 7 times. I loved it. Oh man. What have I done, sweet Jesus? What have I done? Become a thief in the night, become a dog on the run. Have I fallen so far, and is the hour so fast that nothing remains but the cry? I don't know if exact words, but I did at one time. Les Miserables. Oh, excellent story by Victor Hugo. And then you put the music in there. Oh, it's fantastic. It's about revolution. It's beautiful. It's got a love story in there, several. The next one, another classic, and I didn't see this one until like maybe about 5 years ago. And that's The Phantom of the Opera, another crowd pleaser, right? Uno que cae bien al público, que todo el público le gusta. The fourth one I'm not familiar with, Woman in Black. So this is one that I don't think, maybe it was popular on Broadway, but I don't think I've heard of it. So this is one of those that I said that, because Les Miserables, huge in New York. Phantom of the Opera, huge. The Mousetrap was huge, right? The next one, Blood Brothers. I don't know if this one's based on the TV show, Blood Brothers, the series, but it's number 5. It's in the 5th spot in the West End. And number 6 is one that's extremely popular in the United States too. Mamma Mia, here we go again. It's my life, the ABBA musical. So there we go, folks. We took a little trip to the West End. If you'd like to take a trip to Broadway, remember, you've got episodes of FYI on Broadway. There are 2 episodes out on Broadway. All right, well, we've got a lot to do, so let's check out our homophone answers over here. The first person to participate, let's go on over here. German says and are not homophones. Okay, and German, those are the right words. So remember, first things first, las cosas en su orden. Primero tenemos que saber que estamos hablando de las mismas palabras. Sí. And German says those words don't sound alike. Okay, let's see. Elena says, good morning. Good morning, Elena. She says the words are and those are the correct words, and they aren't homophones. Okay, interesting, Elena. Laura, those are the correct words, and Laura says they don't sound alike. Born to Iron Man says the correct words, and he says they don't sound alike at all. Well, maybe the first part and the end, right? It's the vowels, something alike, right? Okay, let's see. Lupe says the words are and they don't sound alike. Salvador says they are not homophones. Juan says they are not homophones. Rosaline, wow, a lot of people. Wow. A lot of people saying that they're not homophones. I hope you're right. In fact, I think everybody's saying that they're not homophones. All right, well, the first word, mommy. I'm going to call my mommy. I want my mommy. 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 Okay, it comes from mom, right? So my mother is my mom, is my mommy, okay? Father, dad, or daddy, right? Those are the most common ones. Later, there are people who say poppy, my pops, but the most common, mommy and daddy, okay? So mommy. I want you guys to repeat it with me. Mommy, mommy. And the second word, mummy, mummy. So my mommy dressed up as a mummy. My mommy dressed up as a mummy. Do they sound the same? No. Great job. The first one to get it, German. And so, yes, they're not. Listen, I'll say them now together. Mommy, mummy, mommy, mummy, mommy, mummy. My mommy is not a mummy, ¿ok? Y ahora, vamos a aclarar algo aquí. Si lo dices a la británica, sí que son homófonos. Por eso especifiqué. Because the British say my mum. So we say my mom, M-O-M, y luego duplicamos la M y ponemos la Y, my mommy. They say my mum, and they say my mummy. So for the Brits, it's the same word. M-U-M-M-Y. So I remember the first time I heard that, I was a little bit scared, some kid telling me about his mummy. And I'm like, is this guy Indiana Jones? Or, who is this guy? Okay, so my amigos, as always, we've got to keep moving along because we are running out of time here. So let's go on over to the movies. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. That's right. Oh, and before we go on, I wanted to teach you an idiomatic expression with the word mum, a la británica, mum, okay? And it's mum's the word. Si yo te digo un secreto, if I tell you a secret, and then I tell you mum's the word, significa ni una palabra. Mum's the word, okay? Es M-U-M apóstrofe S. Mum's the word, okay? And it means shh, a nadie. No se lo cuentes a nadie. Mum's the word. My mom, ahí tenéis un double trouble. My mom said that mum's the word. Dije que ni una palabra a nadie. All right, let's take a look at today's Name That Movie. I'm going to give you the trailer, and then we'll take a look at a scene from the movie. And I don't know about you guys, but I am getting in the holiday spirit. So you can expect some Christmas movies coming up and Christmas songs. A lonely, obnoxious young millionaire pays a family to spend Christmas with him. Indecent proposal? No, I'm joking. To spend Christmas with them in the biblical sense? Oh, Jesus. So a lonely, solitario. Obnoxious. Okay, so let me explain this word. I love this word. Annoying, eres pesado. Obnoxious, voy a usar el adjetivo pesado de cojones. Okay. Obnoxious. Es una X, pero suena shh, obnoxious. You're obnoxious. Eres pesadísimo, right? A lonely, obnoxious young millionaire pays a family, les paga, to spend Christmas with him. So it's this typical story of some rich guy who has everything but people to spend the holidays with, right? And then the lesson is very clear. The moral is very clear. You can have all the money in the world, but if you've got nobody to share with, if you can have all the happiness in the world, but if you got nobody to tell, hey, I just won the lottery. I just won the lottery. Hello? I won the lottery. So, even something like winning the lottery, which you make no effort whatsoever, if there's nobody to share it with, it's not the same, right? That's why social media works so well. People have a need to share. Of course we do. And then we got to the point where we overshare. Oh, my hemorrhoids are acted up again. I've been shitting blood for 2 weeks. And I'm like, whoa. Excuse me? Is this your medical report? Or is this your Facebook page? All right, let's see if anybody knows the movie. As I said, it's a Christmas movie. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves a winner. Please give it up for Cristóbal Roll. The movie is Surviving Christmas. Also, Vero got it as well. Surviving Christmas. Awesome. Chris, we missed you in the movie section. This is a movie that came out in the year 2004, and it's a movie that stars Ben Affleck, protagonizado por, nosotros no usamos preposición. It stars tal persona. So it stars Ben Affleck, Christina Applegate, and James Gandolfini. Do you know who James Gandolfini is? Tony Soprano. Oh, wow. And Catherine O'Hara, who is no stranger, o sea, que está muy acostumbrada a, she's no stranger to Christmas movies. Do you know who Catherine O'Hara is? She is the mom in, I know you know this, Chris, and many of you, the mom in Home Alone. But no, this is another Christmas movie. Let's take a look at the scene. Tom Valco shouts, grita. He shouts, Brian, get down here and eat your dinner, will you? Al favor. I think you say, haz favor. Al favor. Al favor. Mi abuela siempre me lo decía. Es haz favor o haz favor. Will you? Eso es, yo creo, por el contexto tiene que ser haz favor. Will you? So, Brian, get down here and eat your dinner, will you? And Brian says, I'm not hungry. No tengo hambre. And Tom says, yeah, you are. Sí, eres hambriento. And Christine says, stop yelling at me. Deja de gritarme, deja de regañarme. Stop yelling at me. Lo mismo que look at, empleamos el at ahí. And Tom says, I'm not yelling at you, Brian. No te estoy gritando, Brian. And Christine says, she shouts back, devuelve el grito, Brian, get down here, please, so your father can stop not yelling at me. Okay? So, baja, por favor, Brian, para que tu padre puede dejar de no gritarme. O sea, diciendo que evidentemente me estás gritando. And Brian says, I'm busy. This is the millionaire. Estoy ocupado. And Tom says, I told you, te lo dije. I told you we shouldn't have put the computer up in his room. Me acuerdo esta conversación con mis padres. Yeah, I remember one time my parents grounded me. Me castigaron. I was grounded, se dice. They grounded me. They said, Alberto, you're grounded. Go up to your room. Think about what you did wrong. And I just turned on my Nintendo. And it was awesome. And then my parents said, we shouldn't have put the Nintendo in his room. I know this conversation very well. It's like, wait, that's not punishment. Eso no es castigo. He says he's going to spend all his time there. Va a pasar todo su tiempo ahí. And then Christine says, oh, Tom, sarcastically, obviously, welcome to the future, dear. Bienvenido al futuro, cariño. In a sarcastic way. Remember, dear can also be said in a sarcastic way. Oh, dear. Tontita. You know? De hecho, una de mis favoritas es en el sur de Estados Unidos. Si alguien te dice, bless your heart, que bendigan tu corazón, significa, es que no das para más, hijo mío. So, I swear to God. So like, oh, did you meet the guy that they just hired at the local supermarket? Man, he takes his time. Bless his heart. No da para más. You know? So, parece que te están diciendo algo bonito y te están diciendo, tú eres un poco tontito. So again, tone is key. He says he's advancing his skills, avanzando mejorando sus habilidades. We talk about skills a lot. Language skills, people skills, right? One day, that computer's going to get our baby a good job. También la conversación. Te decían, you're never going to make money playing video games. Really? True story? Are you sure? You sure you don't want to eat your words? So that typical argument there. And Tom says, trust me. Ahora, se puede decir trust in me, pero es muy forzado, es como muy como formal. We would just say, trust me. Y eso suele ser famous last words, ¿no? Cuando alguien te dice, trust me, you're like, oh, no, aquí vamos. Trust me. What he's doing up there, lo que él está haciendo ahí arriba, nobody's going to pay him for. Nadie le va a pagar por eso. I think, do I have to tell you what he's doing, guys? Well, let me finish the sentence. Because if they did, porque si le pagasen, I'd have retired at 17. Yo hubiese estado jubilado con 17. You get it, right? They're talking about he's up there spanking the monkey, jerking the gherkin, beating the meat. Sí, son todas formas de decir estar contigo mismo, íntimamente. Folks, we're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the fourth and final part of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, I'm still celebrating. I didn't even start. And as I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times, I'll shout it from the rooftops, from the mountaintops. Thank you. Thank you. I'm thankful for you guys. So lucky to have wonderful students, driven students, nice students. Gente maja. Seriously, guys. I'm not just saying that. You know me. Usually, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to be sincere, like it or not. Because it's, as I said earlier in the show, it's hard for me to lie. I don't have a poker face. I don't play poker. I just go, te enseño una palabra. I'm a straight shooter. Disparo hacia adelante. O sea, no doy vueltas con lo que tengo que decir. But I think I save people a lot of time. Sometimes I get reactions like, I can't believe you just said that. I'm like, well, do you want me to lie to you or give me my opinion? Hey, it's taken 45 years to get to this point where you're like, you know what? You don't have to agree with me. And it's cool. It's cool. Some people are more vocal. Some people aren't. Some people, it depends on the situation. To be vocal means to express your opinion, verbally in voz alta. So, oh, well, like in a restaurant, something comes out and it's undercooked or it's cold or you don't like it. Do you keep quiet? Do you say something? If you do say something, you better be nice. Usually if you're like, esto está bien, it's not the waiter's fault. It's usually, in a nice way, you tell people, guy, you wouldn't eat it either. Believe me, it's frozen in the middle, Or you can do a chicote and be like, flipo pepinillos, alucino pepinillos. A shout out to Chicote. Hey, Chicote is always practicing his English. I know because he follows on Twitter. So a shout out to Chicote and all those people, international people who need to speak English among other languages. All right, folks, it's time to rock and roll right into today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's Double Trouble only on the Show with No Name. And as always, this is a section of the show where I give you guys a translation, but it's not your typical translation. It's a translation with a twist. And that twist is un toque, un truco, algo especial, a twist, okay, un giro inesperado. And that is that you have to use the same word twice. Okay, aquí lo esperas. But you don't know. You don't know what I'm going to release on you today. No sabes. You don't know what I'm going to unleash. Lo vimos antes, la palabra desatar. Well, leash es la correa. You take a dog out on a leash. So if you unleash the dog, well, you're letting him off the leash. All right. And Chris Valrol, good luck on the move. Chris Valrol said she's moving this weekend. Está de mudanza. Good luck. I know that can be a pain in the butt, but new beginnings are always nice. All right. Él aprendió un nuevo oficio. Hablando de nuevos comienzos. Él aprendió un nuevo oficio y no lo cambiaría por nada en el mundo. There you go. I think it's an easy one. I could be wrong, but I think it's pretty easy. Él aprendió un nuevo oficio y no lo cambiaría. Él no lo cambiaría por nada en este mundo. All right, there's your double trouble. You have to use the same word twice. Also, I'm going to give you today's Say What soundbite for the fourth time. If anybody else would like to participate, this is your last chance.
This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
All right, there you go, folks. Something DOO economics. Es que ahí te lo está diciendo. DOO. O sea, espacio DOO. ¿Ves? Te lo está diciendo él cómo se deletrea en inglés. Bueno saberlo. Because you say voodoo y lo escribís con UU. Y nosotros decimos voodoo y es OOOO. Oh. All right, let's take a look at today's Double Trouble. The first one to participate over here is Elena. So many people participating. Great job, guys. All right, Elena says he learned a new trade. He learned a new trade. Great. Eso es un verbo que puede ser regular o irregular. So learned or learnt. Nice job, Elena. He learned a new trade. Hasta ahora bien. So far, so good. And he wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. Elena, you've got the translation. There's just one little grammar thing there. And you know what, Elena? I think you know it. I'm not even going to tell you. Elena, I want you to tell me there's just one thing, una cosita que falla ahí. All right, let's see who's next over here. Germán says, he learned a new trade and would trade it for anything in the world. But Germán, you're saying the opposite. He would trade it. Lo cambiaría. I'm saying no lo cambiaría. Oh, no. Let's move on. Next, we've got Laura. He learned a new trade and he wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. That's the one. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this over here. All right. Yeah, I see that you saw it. Okay. Es que hemos tenido con Elena a double negative. Okay. So I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Sería, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But great job, Elena. Fantastic. And Germán, you just needed to put wouldn't to make yours correct. El N apóstrofe T. So, Laura, excellent job. There's Rosaline. There's Vero. So many people. Guys, wonderful work. He learned a new trade, and he wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. You can call it a trade, a craft. ¿Conocéis craft? Minecraft, el oficio de hacer minas. Minecraft. So, and to craft is fabricar. And crafts are manualidades. Wow. See how we can play with words all the time? I love playing with words, and that's precisely what we do in You're Joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, amigos. That's right. You're joking only on the show with no name. And here's where I give you the funniest joke you're ever going to hear in your life. And I'm clearly joking right now. This is a really bad joke. I'll warn you. You're forewarned. Prevenidos, forewarned. This joke is bad, but it doesn't matter. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to explain it, to prove to me and to your classmates that you get it. And we're going to pretend that I don't get it at all. Okay? Yo no lo pillo aquí. All right? And let's see, Monse has given us another version of today's double trouble. Let's see. He landed a new job and he wouldn't change it for all the tea in the land of China. I love it. Excellent. It's normally all the tea in China, pero me gusta lo que has hecho ahí, Monse. Very creative, as Laura pointed out. And excellent. Guys, you really are not just good students, you're creative students as well. You think outside the box. All right, let's see if you get this joke over here. So, who are the biggest fans at the theater? We were talking about the theater before. Who are the biggest fans at the theater? Anybody? The backstage crew. Yeah, well, they're always giving the actors props. They're always giving the actors props. They're always giving the actors props. No. It's funny. I think it's funny. I'm tearing up over here. Me están saliendo lágrimas. Who are the biggest fans at the theater? The backstage crew. Because they're always giving the actors props. Oh. No? Does anybody get the joke? I think it's hysterical. Honestly, I'm not faking this. You can see the tears in my eyes here. The backstage crew. Okay, el equipo que está detrás del escenario, ¿no? Los que van de negro. The backstage crew. And where's that double meaning there? They're always giving the actors props. Well, what is props? I guess we need to know what props are. And I guess that word prop has a double meaning, correct? Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Germán says, are props accesorios and properties? You got one of the meanings. Good work. Laura says, fan is ventilador and props are decorations for the stage. Yes, you're both right, but it's still not the joke. So you're giving us other meanings of other words in the joke, and that's wonderful. That means you've got a lot of knowledge of vocabulary in English, right? A wide range of words in your palate, tu paladar. But no, the joke is not with the word fan, and doesn't have to do with properties. All right, well, a prop is something you use, an accessory that you use in a movie or that you use in a play. So in the musical Hamilton, when they sign the Declaration of Independence, they need a piece of paper, they need a pen with a feather. You know, they have to have all the atrezo, I think you say in Spanish, the props, okay? And the backstage crew, aside from moving things and, you know, working with the actors, they also have to give them props. Okay, cuando sales del escenario, yo tendré el libro listo para ti y te lo doy en mano. You know, it's beautiful. I love seeing the backstage workings. It's almost as interesting as the play. There's so much happening. If you could just listen to the radio, the headsets during a Broadway play, you would go nuts. Okay, preparing cue camera one, cue light cue 1, y pueden llegar hasta light cue 175, ¿no? Pie de luz número 175. So it's just it's a well-oiled machine when it works well. And all you're seeing is just a performance, but there's so many people performing behind the scenes. All right, so props, atrezo, okay? The props department, el departamento que tiene esto. And to give somebody props es darle mérito, okay? Darles crédito por lo que han hecho. Hey, man, I give you props for that. You did a good job in that speech. Props, mérito, crédito, props. P-R-O-P-S is the word. Aunque es una O, suena a una A. Props. So do you get it now? Who are the biggest fans at the theater? The backstage crew. Because they're always giving the actors props. Le están dando mérito. Le están dando los accesorios, el atrezo. All right, folks. I think it's time for today's famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And I'm going to tell you some people who are celebrating a birthday today. And hopefully you guys will recognize our birthday boys and girls. All right. The first one over here is a guy who was born in 1940. Okay. 1940. His last name es como un inglés diría trineo, pero un americano no. We would call un trineo a sleigh or a sled in the United States. Okay, lo podéis escuchar en el capítulo de Christmas de FYI. So we call it a sleigh or a sled, but the British don't. Y si te sabes como los británicos dicen trineo, pues te sabes el apellido de este pavo. All right. And also this guy, what did he do? ¿A qué se dedicaba? I say did because he passed away in 2015. He was an American R&B, soul, and gospel singer. He was known for the song, When a Man Loves a Woman. And I'm not talking about Michael Bolton. That was a cover. Eso fue una versión. I'm talking about the original song, When a Man Loves a Woman, which hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, en las listas, on the charts, and that was in the year 1966. He eventually died, as I said, in 2015 of liver cancer, cáncer del hígado, in Baton Rouge in Louisiana. He was 74 years old. Number 2, this person was born in 1971. Her last name is Puerta de Manzana. Yeah, Puerta de Manzana. She was in one of my favorite TV series called Married with Children. Matrimonio con hijos, I think you say. Love and marriage go together. She played Kelly Bundy. Hello. She was also in Surviving Christmas, which was today's Name That Movie. But she's been in so many movies. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Me encanta el título. No le digas a mamá que la niñera está muerta. The Big Hit, The Sweetest Thing. She was also in the Anchorman movies. She was in Vacation, the newest iteration of the Vacation movies. She was in Bad Moms, very funny movie as well. And she is a buxom blonde, una rubia with curves, con curvas. Last but not least, this guy has made a living out of playing monotonous characters. One of his most famous ones, I think where everybody discovered him, was when he played an economics teacher in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think you call it Todo en un Día. And then he got his own game show. And, well, the guy's funny because his delivery es como dice las frases, un actor. His delivery is deadpan. Deadpan is a way of saying sin emoción, sin nada, como, oh, thank you, that's really good news. That kind of thing. But again, I mean, you don't. Nobody wants to listen to somebody who's monotone, but this guy's made millions. And it's interesting because he started out as a lawyer before he became an actor. But once he did Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I mean, all of us repeat that famous scene when he's taking attendance. Bueller, anyone? Very, very funny guy. All right, let's take a look. Our birthday boys and girls. Number 1, Percy Sledge. La palabra trineo en inglés británico es sledge. Number 2, Christina Applegate. And number 3, Ben Stein. En Todo en un Día es el profesor. And he says in the Say What soundbite here, this is very controversial. Esto es muy polémico. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? ¿Alguien sabe cómo llamó esto el vicepresidente Bush en los 80, en 1980? Anyone es la frase, es una de las frases famosas de él. Anyone, cuando nadie te contesta y preguntas algo, anyone, something DOO economics, voodoo economics. Here he is, the one and only master of deadpan. Decir las cosas sin emoción. It's Ben Stein.
This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
And you can hear the girl in the classroom blowing a bubble, right? With her gum, you can hear her blowing a bubble. She's bored out of her gourd. A gourd es una forma así de type of pumpkin. Las calabazas más pequeñas, those are called gourds. So we have an expression, to be out of your gourd, estás mal de la cabeza. All right, folks, time for our final section. Name that lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And thank you. Thank you for doing an awesome job today and every day. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for your time. Just a quick reminder, you've got amazing programs all afternoon. All you have to do is download the Vaughn Radio app. You've got tons of content that we're posting every day on social media. I know myself, I've been posting a video a day aside from these shows and also my podcast. So I know just from me, you should be getting tons of content. But the question is, and the question remains, are you really getting that content? So remember, we like to delineate between getting it, recibiéndolo, and getting it. And I hope it's the second one, captándolo, pillándolo. So thank you. It seems to me like you're getting it, como pillándolo. So, but if you can't, if you're like me and you need to write things down, there's nothing wrong with having a pen, a notebook, or even your phone nearby where you can jot down some notes when we look at an idiomatic expression or something that has to do with pronunciation or a common mistake or what have you, o lo que sea. All right, here is today's Name That lyric. I'll give you the song. It's When a Man Loves a Woman. And as I said, we're not going to look at the Michael Bolton version. We're going to take a look at the Percy Sledge, even though the lyrics are exactly the same. So it starts out, if you want to sing along, you can do it with me. When a man loves a woman. Woman? What if the song, they would really change the song. When a man loves women. Ahora ya es un golfo. ¿Ves cómo es importante ahí esos artículos? When a man loves a woman, he can't keep his mind on nothing else. Percy Sledge. Michael Bolton, please. I'm here correcting my students, telling them not to use double negatives, and you say can't nothing? All right, entiendo que tienes que meter sílabas ahí, o quitar. So he can't keep his mind on anything else, pero bueno, poetic license. Then the next line says, he'd trade the world. We looked at the word trade today in our Double Trouble. Cambiaría el mundo. Intercambiar, right? On Wall Street, they trade stocks. Comercio is trade, pero aquí es cambiar algo por otra cosa. And we said it's oficio too. He'd trade the world for the good thing he's found. Por eso, bonito que ha encontrado. Si ella es mala, él no puede verlo. Ella no puede fallar. If she's bad, he can't see it. She can do no wrong. ¿Te sabes esta expresión? Todo lo que hace está mal. Nunca puede fallar, right? En tus ojos. You know, he loves her so much that she can do no wrong. Haga lo que haga, no se lo toma personal. And turn his back on his best friend. Oh, no. Y abandonar a su mejor amigo. No, wait a second. I don't think we have to go that far. I think it's important to have friends, family. And speaking of friends and family, thank you so much for being here, familia. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've got to get going. Let's sing the song together. You know you want to. It's a beautiful song, and a beautiful song for beautiful students. Thanks again. And we'll be back on Monday with a brand spanking new show. Nuevísimo. Don't cry, folks. Boom, 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 boom. I give up. Yo no llego.